My name is Emmanuela Shinta. I am a Dayak Maanyan woman. I'm from Kalimantan, Borneo. Kalimantan is the part of the Borneo that belong to Indonesia. Borneo is the third biggest island in the world and also the third oldest and biggest rainforest in the world. And Dayak people are the original people of the land. They are the first people of the land. They have been living here since thousands years ago. So basically, my organization, Ranawelum Foundation, is an organization that combines the technology and the indigenous wisdoms to address the rights of the indigenous people, to preserve the culture, and also to protect the nature. Since 2014 till now, we have trained more than 150 people, mostly young indigenous filmmakers. We train them to be able to tell the stories about their communities, about their villages, about the struggles in their communities through audiovisual media. We also conducted indigenous film festivals. Now we already have several indigenous film festivals in different countries, and it's quite fascinating because we can see all the stories come together, and we try to change the perception. We try to decolonize through the audiovisual media. And I'm really passionate about working with young people. I have been working with them since 10 years ago, and through the Youth Act movement that we started in 2015, we already mobilized thousands young people in Kalimantan and also all across Indonesia to be united in solidarity to demand for climate justice and to stop the forest fires that happened in Kalimantan since 1997. Talking about my relationship with the element of fires, some people may call it like a love-hate relationship. Because in the recent years, people know me because of my works to address the forest fires in Kalimantan. But far before that, I always love fires. In everything that I do, I always say keep on fire, keep on fire. It's like bringing up the patience in yourself, because I always work with the youth, and these youth have something like fires inside them. For me personally, that has been the part of my life, as I really have these passions for a movement. I have these passions for visions. I have these passions to make my dreams come true and to see the changes happen in my community. So it's always about the fire that can bring you to keep going, to pursue your dreams. And I always feel like there is a fire inside my soul to keep going, to go after what I want. I ever wrote the articles about the fires. Fire is quite very important. The fire is a very important element for human, and especially for indigenous communities. The fire can warm, the fire can help us in many ways to provide for the cook, and for the indigenous community, especially the farmers, we really need fire every time we want to open the field. Every time we want to plant the rice or plant a vegetable, we use this traditional way of farming. We use fire, not to burn the forest, but to clear the land. And actually, it's not only for Dayak communities, but I have learned that there are many other indigenous communities all over the world that use the fire in their traditional way of farming. And this practice has been done by my ancestors for hundreds and thousands years. And that's how we do that. Unfortunately, since 1997, when the big forest fires started happening in Kalimantan, everything changes. The first time I started to realize that a fire is a scary thing, actually, when I was about 7 years old. My house was caught in the fire, and it was very traumatic event because at the time it's only me and my mom were at the house, and suddenly all these blazing fires burned our home and we were trapped inside. Somehow my mom and I managed to escape, but I have since that my home and all my belongings, all my favorite things, all become the dust. All was burned, and that's a very painful, that's very, very traumatic. But somehow I recalled the same experience when the big forest fires happened in Kalimantan in 2015. So in 2015, these massive fires happened all across Indonesia, but mostly in Kalimantan, we are affected. We were living in the heart of the haze, because I could remember that time the sky was dark and a bit yellow because of the poisonous gas. And I also still remember how we couldn't breathe because of the toxic air. And all the green things that we often see, that we always view, along the streets, around our house, around the campus, all become gray, black, and brown, always burnt. And I always say this thing: it never gets easy to see your home burnt. It never gets easy. It never gets easy to see all your belongings, all your favorite things, all the place where you used to play, all become ashes. That's how actually I started to deepen my understandings about fires. And I remember 5 years ago, I still look at a fire as a very bad thing, as a very traumatic thing, as something that we don't want to see. But when I learned it in a personal way, and I remember things in the past, and I remember what my ancestors told us, and then suddenly I realized that this is something that we need to look deeper and with a better understanding. I remember watching one show in television at the time, about the element of fires, water, and earth, and air. Yeah, and I always love fire because it seems powerful. It seems the strongest element, but also it seems the most dangerous. If I have this power of fire in my soul, in my hands, and then I can do whatever I want to do. But we really need fires if we want to achieve something in our life. We need to fire up our souls. But if we do not learn how to control that, and then it becomes a very, very dangerous element. It can kill you, it can destroy you just in a glance. And that's how I started to think about how to control the fires. And it's not about controlling the element itself, but it's controlling ourselves. With the wildfire, even the good thing that we meant, it can turn into a bad things, and it can create disadvantage for others. But somehow, it's not a solution to cut off this element from our lives. I will give you one example, the very, very authentic example. Because of the forest fires and the loss of the country that caused by it, the government made the policy that people cannot use the traditional way of farming, which is using fires to open the field. And farmers are banned for using the fires for the farming activities. If they keep doing that, and then the police arrested them. And it's ironic actually, like I mentioned, the Dayak farmers already do this practice for thousands of years. And when the Dayak farmers do that, it's not just simply throwing the fires and then leave it, become a wildfire and burn it. No, but we have the traditional way of maintaining it, of keeping it, so it will not turn into the wildfire. It includes the indigenous wisdom of the Dayak communities. And many farmers told to me that they already tried to plant something without burning first, they try to plant it just in a very simple way, but it doesn't grow. It doesn't work. So they have a very difficulty to survive their lives because they cannot earn anything, they cannot plant anything because it's not growing if they do not use the traditional way that they used to do. But somehow government doesn't want to take, any concern on it. They keep saying If there is any fires in your area and then someone will get fire, you know what I mean? It creates a very big disadvantage for the Dayak farmers. But actually, the cause of the forest fire in Kalimantan, it's not because of the farming activities. It's because of the dry. It's because of the heat of the sun, and it's because of the climate change, and it's because of the wrong managements of the peatland. Because peat need to stay wet, but now it becomes dry because there is a lot of plantations like palm oil plantations, which is actually can make the peat dry. We can see two perspectives in this. People say, hey, fires will create a big loss, not only for Kalimantan but also for this country. Alright, okay, we agree with that. But if you cut off this element from our lives, if you say, hey, you cannot use the fire for the traditional way of farming, and then it's a similar thing with cut off the traditional wisdom of the indigenous community, especially the Dayak people. So it's not a solution. Cutting off something that create you a loss, it's not a solution. But you have to learn how to do it. You have to learn how to control it. You have to learn how to manage it. And that's what we do. That's what our people do. We learn how to manage the fire. We learn how to control these fires to make it benefits for us. I learned how to keep going. I learned how to keep my fighting spirit by myself. I always say this to the young people that I mentors. Do not expect someone else to come and raise your spirit. Do not expect someone else come and burn your spirit to make you passionate about something. No. The fires that coming from outside, it's very easy to stop and being extinguished. But the fires that coming from your souls, from insides, they can't turn it up. For example, when I have a mental breakdown, I know I have to raise my own spirit. I have to raise my own soul. I have to say like, it's okay, come on. You can just rise up again and you can go again. I don't expect to wait someone else to pick me up or like to say, hey, you can do this. I mean, that's good. You still need others to encourage you, but everything depends on yourself. With this element of fires, I learned how to influence others. I learned how to get others come into my way and let's do this together. Like what I'm doing right now, you know, like I have these visions for Kalimantan. I have these visions for our people, and we have a lot of resources. I mean, we have young people, incredible Dayak youth that are very capable to do many things, and I would like to see them to reach their full potential and make a change in their community. So I always say like, come here, let's do this together. I like to see these young people also have their souls burning in the passions, burning in the fighting spirit to pursue their dreams. So I would say like, hey, come here, let's do this together. And you know, these little fires, when they come together and then become a big fires, that's a flame. Even the smallest flame, when they come up together, it becomes a very big fires. It can be very dangerous and it can be very powerful. And something specific I learned about the peat fires actually, it feels not easy to talk about this because I used to against the peat fire. I used to say bad things about the peat fires because you know, with the peat fires, the fires can survive and burn under the surface of the ground, and it can last for like months. With the peat fires, you can just throw a lot of water on the surface and okay, you do not see any fires anymore, but actually it burned under the surface of the ground. It can be like 2 meters, 3 meters or 4 meters or even 10 meters under the surface of the ground, and it can last for 1 month and 2 months. So I learned some things that some people may think that you give up. Some people may think that you do nothing. Some people may think that you have become so weak. But actually, you always have the fires inside of you, deep inside that people cannot see. And just like the peat fires can last for 1 month and 2 months, and suddenly when the heat sun comes and the dry season comes, and then it can just boom become a big fires. That's the same thing also with us. If we keep this small flame, small peat fires inside of us, even when people cannot see, even when people judge you that you are nothing, you just wait for the season to come. You just wait for the time to come. You just wait for the conditions and circumstances come to your side. And then that's your timing. That's your divine timing, and you can just pop up and become undefeated. I think there are so many people have fires right now because of the climate change issue, and so many people will call the fires bad thing. Like for example, right now we have fires not only in Kalimantan. I mean, even in Kalimantan, the forest fire kept happening for 23 years since 1997. And then last year we heard about the Australian fires, and then we also heard about the California fires, and even in Unani, in Greek, we also see the fires. Like, it's dreadful, it's scary, it kills so many people. And when we talk about climate change, all these fires in Amazon, it's because of climate change. So more people have fires. That's the reality actually. So I think this element of fire is under threat because so many people had it. So many people cannot see the benefit of it. Like I mentioned, I have learned this from my ancestors. I have learned this through the indigenous wisdom that the fires are our friends. We need that. It's not about stopping it. It's not about cutting it off, but it's about how to control it. And I'm so thankful because I learned it from the indigenous wisdoms that have been passed by my ancestors. I believe we should not see these elements as enemy, because if we see something as an enemy, we are not able to control it. We are not able to manage it. We have to embrace that. This is also a very uneasy thing to say, but I think I should thank the element of fires. Because of the element of fires, now Kalimantan issues being heard all over the world. We are facing these colonizations for such a long time, and decolonizing become one of big challenges that my generation has to do. And with Kalimantan, I never think Kalimantan got a chance to bring the voices about the rights, about our livelihood, about our beautiful cultures, and about the rainforest that we have to protect. We never got a chance to show the world that we, Dayak people, are the guardians of the forest. But since the news of the forest fires come out in 2015, like all the world's attentions, all the eyes from all over the world look at Kalimantan, look at Palangkaraya, look at Borneo, and they say, this rainforest of Borneo, we need to protect. Of course, I need to give thanks to the fires because for the past 50 years, we have been dealing with the expansions of the extractive industries like logging, mining, palm oils. And this all destroying the rainforest even more than forest fires. And yeah, forest fires in one side created a big loss for biodiversity and also for us as a people, because we inhale this poisonous air for more than 20 years. But now the time has come. The world start to look at Kalimantan. The world start to listen to the Dayak people. So it's very interesting. I think we need to see at something from a different aspects. It's not only seeing good and bad things, but we need to look carefully about how everything being tied to each other. And for me, as a Dayak woman, I always look at everything from the indigenous wisdoms, from the indigenous perspective, and how we associate with that. For all the women that watch this video, I would like to encourage you to find the fire inside your souls, because we have that small little flame in our souls, deep inside, buried inside. but just wait for the time to come. Wait for all the circumstances to be on your side. And the time will come for you to be able to achieve what you want. Do not fear the fires. Embrace the fire. I also encourage you to learn from indigenous communities all over the world about how they can manage the fires. Bringing the fires inside your souls, you can be a change maker. You can create an impact for your communities, for your families, for your neighborhood, even for your country. Please do care about the issues of climate change, because this is an issue that belongs to all of us. We need to come up together for this. And as now I'm speaking to you through these videos, the fires started to happen again around us. The hotspots started to appear in Kalimantan, and we need to fight again, not with hatred, but with love. We are at the front line of this battle to protect this planet. If you want to support us, please reach out to me. Please reach out to us, and I will let you know how you can support us and how we can work together to protect this planet.